philosopher who has defined postmodernism in his work, A Postmodern Condition, and that is Jean-Francois Lyotard, and he has defined postmodernism as incredulity. Towards meta-narrative. So this how he has defined postmodernism in one sentence. So let us first understand what is the meaning of meta-narrative. Why he is defining postmodernism as incredulity. Incredulity means doubt or distrust, not having trust and belief in something. So he is telling that postmodernism is incredulity, distrust in meta-narrative. While defining this, he has given the idea of meta-narrative. So this is the first time that he has defined, he talked about meta-narrative. So let us first understand what this means. Now mostly you find that narrative means a story. Any narrative means a descriptive story. So it's a story, it's not a truth or not a fact, but narrative means a story. And meta means it is stories about one particular story. So meta narrative, or we can also name it as grand narrative. Grand narrative. Now these two are very much similar. Grand narrative or meta narrative, these two are similar. You can use the word grand narrative as well as meta narrative. Grand narrative is a bigger narrative, bigger story which includes too many other stories. So it is one story which has many other stories. So in meta narrative you will find that it is a story about stories, or stories about one particular story. So that is called meta narrative. But somewhere if you try to define, if you try to search about meta narrative, you will find definitions of meta narrative like this. So we will understand this of course with example, because somewhere you find that it is very difficult to get this word and even to understand that what is the meaning of meta narrative. Now it is defined as a narrative. Of course narrative means story. Meta narrative defined as a narrative that claims to explain various events in history. So of course it is something about history, historical narration or historical narrative. So a narrative or a story that claims to explain various events in history. It is also all-encompassing story, classic text, or archetypal account of the historical record. They can also provide a framework upon which, now this is a Wikipedia definition, they can also provide a framework upon which an individual's own experiences and thoughts may be ordered. Okay, so let us first understand this, and that what does these definitions mean. Now the very first thing is that we believe in something, in some values, morals, truths. All these are framed by some stories. For example, when we were children, we may have read the Panchtantra stories. They are providing us morals, that one should do this and that. So moral is more important. But to explain this moral, what they have given, they have created stories of animal, stories of animals, or even human beings are there, but the story is created to explain one particular moral, that we should not lie, or the person who is miser, he or she suffers, or આપણે એવું કહીએ છીએ લુચ્ચું શિયાળ, તો શિયાળ જેવું લુચ્ચું હોય તો એ હેરાન થાય છે, or you need to do this for the survival. So to teach these morals there are stories, and we believe in the stories and we adopt this morals. એટલે આપણે stories છે માની લઈએ અને પછી morals છે adopt કરીએ and we try to live our life with this morals. So these are very small morals. This is in a very small scale. But what if the morals are very difficult and the morals are not easy to understand, not easy to be adaptable? So what people used to do? And they will create another stories to explain that particular morals, values and truths. Values and truth. For example, to kill someone. Killing. Let us explain this. Let us understand this first. Killing. Now, one person is killing another one. How he will justify his killing? So he will tell a story that another person, one person, a person is killing another one. So how he will justify his acting of killing? Because killing, that particular act is considered as a crime as well as not a good thing. I mean, as well as a sin. So how he will justify that his killing is not a crime or not a sin? So for this he will tell a story or he will narrate the thing that another person is a wrong one, or perhaps he will say that the person who is killed is a terrorist, or another person who is killed is immoral. Not only this one, but he will justify that another person belongs to another country, means enemy, and that's why a person has to kill that another one who is killed. So he is justifying his act of killing of another person. So this how he will narrate a story and explain. He will present his explanation towards another one. Now what will happen when he is explaining this? He is giving an idea that if a person is terrorist, it is not a bad thing to kill a terrorist. It is not a bad to kill him. If a person belongs to another country or another country which is enemy, કે દુશ્મન દેશનો છે, then it is not wrong to kill that person. So he has justified his killing as well as he has established an idea that his killing is not a bad one and not a crime, but he has done something which is necessary and which is needed at the time. So he has presented a story or he has narrated a story, and he is following the value of nationalism. So his killing will not be considered as a crime, but the person is following the value of nationalism and being patriotic. So he is presenting his duty towards nation. So this is called meta-narrative of nationalism, which tells story that one, if another person is immoral or a terrorist or belonging to another enemy country, then it is not a bad thing to kill this person. So that story is considered as the meta narration of nationalism. So this how one value and idea or idea can be established, and people, there will be different people, they will follow these story. People will agree that this is a nationalistic killing, or you can say that it is the killing is not wrong and it is like it's a good deed. So people will believe in this narration, and this narration uh, uh, is considered as meta narration. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So are you getting the idea or not yet? Yes or no? Is the screen visible to you or not?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
So am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so shall we move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I was telling you is that meta narrative is something, it is also a story which is justifying some cultural customs as well as authority and power. So we will see how with another example. Now, before some days there was Holi and Dhuleti. The festival was there. Now, why we are celebrating these festivals? Can anyone tell the story behind it?
મેમ આપણું ટ્રેડિશન રીએ એટલે ટ્રેડિશન્સ આપણી નેક્સ્ટ જનરેશન સુધી પહોંચતા રહીએ એટલે.
Okay, so we are following a particular ritual. I mean, this how we celebrate. અથવા તો હોળી છે અને હોળીના દિવસે જ એટલે કે પૂનમના દિવસે જ કેમ એનું સેલિબ્રેશન થાય છે? Do you know the story behind it?
યસ મેમ. હોલિકા અને પ્રહલાદ વાળી.
Okay, so there is myth behind it, mythical story. Yes or no?
યસ મેમ.
Yes, ma'am.
And ritual is to હોળી પેલું હોળી પ્રગટાવીને આપણે એની પ્રદક્ષિણા કરીએ અને એને જે કહીએ છે રિચ્યુઅલ મીન્સ પ્રથા કે જે પણ આપણે જે કસ્ટમ્સ છે જેવી રીતે આપણે સેલિબ્રેટ કરીએ છીએ એ દેટ ઇઝ રિચ્યુઅલ પ્રથા and a myth means the stories behind our ritual. So we cannot say that which came first, ritual or mythical story. Story પહેલા છે કે ritual પહેલા છે. So if because we want to do that ritual to explain people that you should do this, you should celebrate in this way, there is a story to explain it. એટલે કે આ ritual follow કરો એમ કહેવામાં આવે. For example, you should uh, you should fast in this શ્રાવણ માસ એવું આપણને સમજાવવામાં આવે છે. Religion is explaining us, religion is telling that you should fast, you should do fast કે તમારે શ્રાવણ મહિનામાં ઉપવાસ કરવા જોઈએ. Now આવું સીધે સીધું કોઈને કહે તો કોઈ માને नहीं अथवा तो फास्ट पण न करे. But there is a scientific reason behind it that in those days your digestion power slows down. So if you are taking very light food, then it can be digested very easily. So there is a reason of science behind it. So nobody follow it if they are giving scientific reasons. જે માણસ અભણ છે એને તમે scientific reason કહેશો તો એ નહીં માને, એને એ સમજાશે પણ નહીં. So they have provided mythical stories to follow that particular ritual. એટલે કે એ ritual follow કરો એવું સમજાવવા માટે એ લોકો શું કરે છે? I mean religion is providing us mythical story કે ભાઈ આ જુઓ આ માણસ છે, પ્રખ્યાત માણસ છે, કોઈ સંત મહાત્મા છે, or there is a story of શિવ પાર્વતી behind, and there is a fast કે તમે આવી રીતે ભગવાનનું ભજન કરો અને ફાસ્ટ કરો ભગવાનના નામે. That's why you will be given fortune. So this is how people will start fasting. So this way, to follow the ritual, they are providing us any mythical story so that people believe it and people do that particular ritual. Like this, if authority or and a power wants to legitimize something, it means they want to tell a story, they want to justify something, whatever they have done, then they will give a story that this how it happened, this how one should live. So this with providing that story, people will believe this, that this must be done, કે આવું કરવું જોઈએ because of the narration they are providing us. For example, Mahabharata. You all are familiar with stories of Mahabharata. You will find that it is actually the narration of war. એ શું છે તો કે એક આખા યુદ્ધની કથા છે. Even this Mahabharata. So this title is also celebrating war. હવે war છે ખરાબ વસ્તુ છે. To kill someone is not a good thing, and even it is not morally correct one. So when there were too many people killed and died, you will find that this is not something to celebrate. આ વસ્તુ કઈ celebration કરવા જેવી નથી. So there were many people died, and you find that અને જેને આપણે ભગવાન કહીએ છીએ એને જ્યારે જન્મ લીધો ત્યારે જ મહાભારત થયું. So this story of Mahabharata, if you apply logic, then you will find that it is not a good tale. આપણે એવું પણ કહીએ છીએ કે મહાભારત છે ને ઘરમાં રખાય નહીં, નહીંતર ઘરમાં યુદ્ધ થાય કે ભાઈ મહાભારત છેડાઈ જાય. સો પીપલ સે દેટ કે આખું મહાભારત ક્યારેય વાંચવું નહીં, કે મહાભારત છે એ ઘરમાં ન રાખવી. you can bring Bhagavad Gita and read it 100 times, but મહાભારત છે આખી વંચાય પણ નહીં, આખી જોવાય પણ નહીં, પણ એક ચેપ્ટર છે મૂકી દેવું પડે. So the people used to talk like this. So how the narration of Mahabharata or the story of Mahabharata justified that killing of people or war which happened at the time is not a wrong. So they have narrated the story of dharma and adharma and say that this is the war between dharma and adharma, because other people are actually adharmis, or you can say that they were following adharma, and who won, like Pandavas, they were on the side of dharma, and that's why there must be a war to finish other people. They were the sinners, and it was necessary that war must happen to finish all these people, and it is actually the victory of dharma over adharma, એટલે કે એ ધર્મની જીત માટે છે એવી રીતે. So whole narration, whole story of Mahabharata is actually a narration or meta narrative or a grand narrative to which explains that how dharma wins over adharma. Now if we check, if we just transfer our point of view and put Kaurava in center, you will find that that this meta narrative of Pandava who actually won. એવું કહેવાય છે કે history ઇતિહાસ છે એ કોણ લખે? History is written by those who won. એટલે કે જે જીતી ગયા છે. History is a tale or lies. History is a lie of winner. જે જીતી ગયા છે એ હિસ્ટ્રી લખશે અને એ પોતાને ધર્મના સ્થાને મૂકશે અને જે હારી ગયા છે ને અધર્મના સ્થાને મૂકશે. એન્ડ they will tell that because we were on the side of dharma, that's why we won. So like this you find that because Pandavas won, and that's why they are called that they were in the side of dharma, and this is the reason. So this becomes meta narrative of war and dharma, and it is telling us to follow dharma, that you must follow dharma, and then you will win, otherwise you will lose. So this how it is actually justifying cultural custom that too many people believe in this story, as well as it is justifying the authority. Now who is the authority? Because Pandavas won, they will write the history. જે હારી ગયા છે એની પાસે પાવર નથી હિસ્ટ્રી લખવાનો, એટલે એ ક્યારે હિસ્ટ્રી લખી શકશે નહીં. That's why they can never tell their side. They can never put their angle that they are also right. Their battle or their reason to fight is not અધર્મ but something else. એ ક્યારે એનો પક્ષ રજૂ કરી શકશે નહીં, એટલે આપણને ક્યારે એ ધ્યાનમાં નહીં આવે કે એ અધર્મની સાઈડમાં હતા નહીં. So this is also to justify authority. This is to justify that how Pandava won, and that's why they wrote the history and said that we are on the side of dharma. And power, because they were holding the power, so they are writing history. So this is meta narrative is a story which is to justify cultural customs, authority and power. So these narration is giving meaning, or you can say creating meaning for other people and providing it to the culture. એટલે આખે આખું culture છે. Like our society of Hinduism, this culture meaning is created and provided to the culture that you should follow the path of dharma. So it is meta narrative. So any religious story or religion itself is a meta narration. I hope you are getting me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now it will be easy to view some definitions. Now these are the definitions which are provided by Lyotard to refer to a theory that tries to give a comprehensive and totalizing account. Totalizing account means it is a true telling story or true. To refer to a theory that tries to give a comprehensive means understandable and totalizing account to various historical events and experiences. As I told you that this Mahabharata is told us as a historical event. So any historical event, we are providing justification that this have to happen. આવું થવું જ જોઈએ, એ વખતે આ સમયની માંગ હતી એટલે આવું થયું. So this is about various historical events and experiences. So it is meta narrative is to refer to a theory that tries to give a comprehensive and totalizing account to various historical events and experiences, as well as to social and cultural phenomena based on the appeal to universal truth. It is also appealing to universal truth. It means that why one should follow dharma, or what are some universal truth. તો કે ધર્મ છે, death છે, તો એ બધા વિષયનું જે justification છે, these justification, there's meta narrative, these stories are providing, and in an understandable manner that people can understand it easily and there is no objection. you will find that these stories are revealing some cultural phenomena. For example, cultural phenomena can be celebration of festivals like Diwali, Holi, and why this culture is like this. આપણું culture આવું કેમ, આપણું બીજાનું culture જુદું કેમ? તો કે there is a mythical story behind it, or there is a meta narrative behind it, and that is of a religion. Mostly it is religion. So this meta narrative is providing a comprehensive and totalizing account, or you can say that it is explaining something about cultural phenomena. એ cultural phenomena છે, આવું culture કેમ છે, તો એની પાછળ જે meta narration છે, એની પાછળની story છે એ જણાવે છે. So to cultural phenomena based upon the appeal to the universal truth. It is a type of a storytelling which legitimizes forms of knowledge by supplying them with a validating philosophy of history. Now, this is very important words: legitimizes and validating philosophy of history. Legitimizing means to make something legitimate, which is accepted by all without any objection, અને એ જે સારું અને સાચું લાગે. Legitimizing means which is considered as a true or a correct one. It is not a crime to do that. So as I told you, killing which is considered as a crime, now this killing is legitimized and it turns towards nationalism. કે દેશ પ્રેમના નામે આ જે કિલિંગ છે એને એ લેજિટિમાઇઝ થઈ ગયું. Killing of another person is legitimized under the meta narrative of nationalism.
હેલો, અવાજ નથી
Am I
આવતો
audible?
મેમ.
No, ma'am, there is some
Okay.
problem.
Am I audible now?
યસ મેમ.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I was telling you that it is actually validating philosophy of history. It means it is giving a validation to any historical event. So for example, let me give you a very Indian example. For example, India is celebrating that Indians have a value, or Indian meta narrative is of India is very secular country, or it is a democratic nation. So these are some of the values which are established uh, by meta narratives. So આવું સાબિત કરવા માટે શું કરવામાં આવે છે તો કે there are multiple stories, and these type of stories are told, or you can say that they were highlighted just to reveal that India is a secular country, though it is not, or somewhere you find that there were too many riots, or cultural hegemony or cultural dominance is already there. So you find that today, even if India is a secular country, છતાં પણ અત્યારે આપણે ધર્મના ભેદભાવ, ઝઘડાઓ કે riots છે એવું જોવા મળે છે. So we cannot say that this is a secular country, but still the stories are told in a such a way that we all believe that it is a secular country. So it is a democratic nation. Everyone is free to vote and freedom is provided. But when and how we all are dominated by power, and you can say dictatorial power, that we even don't know about it. So these type of narratives are told in such a way that people remained and people followed that values and these type of ideas. And we also celebrate our tradition as well as these type of narratives કે જો આવું થયું હતું તેવું થયું હતું એવી રીતે આપણે પણ એનું celebration કરીએ છીએ, and we all agree on these type of statements without even looking for the facts. So these meta narratives contains too many stories which approve one. So for example, there are 3 stories, and these 3-4 stories are created to approve one particular story. This is created and they all are indicating, they all are legitimizing this one particular story. For example, there's uh, example of Mahabharata and Pandava. એટલે એવી 5 સ્ટોરીઝ ભેગી એક મોટું નેરેટિવ બનાવે, આને લેજિટિમાઇઝ કરે that yes, they were on the side of dharma, yes, they were on the side of dharma. This how they these type of stories are created just to approve, just to validate that the one particular story is authentic, and it's on the side of dharma. એ જે સાચું હતું એવી રીતે એને પ્રૂવ કરવા માટે બીજી 5 નાની નાની સ્ટોરીઝ છે એ ઘડવામાં આવે. So this how it is called meta narrative, or we can say narratives of the narrative, grand narrative. Now these all are grand stories. Are you getting me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
So even this last definition tells that it is to legitimize power, authority, and social customs. So you find that whatever government is doing, there they will provide us some reason and story that this how it must be done. એટલે એ શું કરે તો કે એને કોઈ પણ એક્શન છે હિસ્ટ્રીમાં કે પ્રેઝન્ટમાં, they will provide us a story, or there will be narration which can be accepted by everyone. So this how they will legitimize their action, they will legitimize power, authority, and social customs, and people believe it blindly. So I hope you're getting me clearly.
એટલું બધું ક્લિયર નથી પણ થોડીક આમાં વાર લાગે સમજવામાં.
Exactly. That's why I uh,
મેમ આ ટોપિક વધારે અઘરો લાગ્યો.
okay. Just a minute.
Ma'am, actually, we are able to get it, we are understanding it, but it's very difficult to connect it with answer or connect it. Connection problem there is.
Yes. No, I am going to provide you everything. This is just a very uh, you can say primary information about meta narrative. When we will move forward, you are able to connect. You are able to connect it, that how it is related to postmodernism, and why we all are talking about it. So this is only to explain what is the meaning of this meta narrative, and and the examples which I have provided you, these are very common, and you can say very easy. Now if you have got that